Today, parents, we're going to take a look at the first key strategy for reading, and that is finding a good fit book. A book that is going to be something that your child can read and enjoy, but also something that's not going to be too challenging or too easy. When helping your child select a book that is going to be a good fit, we like to show them the 5-finger rule. Hold up 5 fingers. And then have your child read the first page or 2 of the book. For each word that your child has difficulty reading or understanding, you put down 1 of your 5 fingers. If at the end of those first page or 2, they have all 5 fingers up, or maybe they only put down 1 finger, that book is probably going to be too easy for them. It'll be a great book for them to maybe enjoy pleasure-wise, but you're not really going to see any reading growth from them. If after reading the first page or 2, they've put down 2, maybe 3 fingers, that's what we're looking for. That's going to be a good fit book, and I'm going to talk a bit more about that in a moment. If you notice that your child puts down 4 or 5 fingers and they have none left, that book is going to be too challenging for them. It may even get to the point of frustration for your child, and that's not where we want them to be as they're reading. So I'm going to model for you what that looks like. I have 3 books that might pique a 2nd grader's interest. So the first book, we have something that's very recognizable. Finding Nemo theme book. It's colors. So I'm going to hold up my 5 fingers and see how much difficulty I have with this book. Colors. 5 fingers are still up. Nemo loves the colors of the sea. Have a look and you'll agree. Orange, yellow, red. After reading the first couple of pages, I still have all 5 fingers up. This book was not a challenge for me. It might be fun to read, but I'm not going to learn any new words. I'm not going to grow as a reader from reading this book. So this book is not a good fit for me. Down to these 2 books. So a lot of 2nd graders are getting into chapter books. And as you can see, these are 2 chapter books. One is definitely a heftier book than the other. Some children may be tempted to go for the heftier book because, oh, it's a big chapter book. I want to prove that I can read a chapter book. And while this is a great goal, the size alone, depending on your child, may be a good indicator that they might not be ready for this. But we can use 5-finger rule to see if this book would work for us. I Am Malala, How One Girl Stood Up for Education and Changed the World. So for this book, you could even start by reading the prologue. If as your child is reading this page, and you can see the words are a lot smaller than some of the books that your child may be familiar with, if you notice that while they're reading, they're taking really deep breaths, like, that is them showing you that they are physically exhausted, and this book is not a good fit book. When I close my eyes, I can see my bedroom. The bed is unmade, my fluffy blanket in a heap because I've rushed out for school late for an exam. My school, it's a word that I don't know. I'm going to put 1 finger down. So my 5, I'm going to put 1 finger down. It's open on my desk to page dated 9th of October 2012. In my school uniform, my white, this is another tricky word that I don't know. I'm going to put another finger down. And blue, tricky, is on a peg on the wall waiting for me. I can hear the neighborhood kids playing cricket. Playing cricket? I thought a cricket was an insect. That doesn't really make sense to me. So Put down another word. I could read it, but I didn't understand what it was. In the alley behind our home, I can hear the hum of the bazaar. Not far away. I've now put down 5 fingers, and I haven't even gotten past the prologue. That's not a good sign. If I can't get past the first page, it's not going to be a good fit for me. If your child is reading and they can't get past the first page or two without missing, either by misreading or not understanding a word, that's not a good fit for your child. So we'll save this book for another time after they've developed as readers. Down to my last book, The Bears on Hemlock Mountain. So again, I'm going to start with my 5 fingers, and I'm going to read the first page or two. Chapter 1, about Jonathan. Jonathan lived in a gray stone farmhouse at the foot of Hemlock Mountain. Now, Hemlock Mountain was not a mountain at all. It was a hill, and not a very big one. But someone had started calling it Hemlock Mountain, and the name had stuck. Now everyone talked about going over Hemlock Mountain. It was the year when Jonathan was 8 that he went over Hemlock Mountain. He was a fine big boy for his age. That was why his mother could send him over the mountain all by himself. So I've managed to read this first page with no problems. Good sign. The winter had been a cold one. Even now in early spring there was snow on the ground. The birds and the squirrels and the rabbits had a hard time finding anything to eat. So every day Jonathan remembered to feed them. Jonathan loved animals and birds. He knew the tracks that each one made in the snow. The small, That's a tricky word, so I'm going to put 1 finger down. And maybe mom or dad could help me with that word. It's creatures. The small creatures could not find enough to eat. But it was not so with Jonathan's aunts and uncles and cousins. All they had to do was come to the gray stone farmhouse, and there was always plenty of food. Jonathan's mother was a fine cook, and all the aunts, uncles, and cousins knew it. They liked to drop by for supper and to sit around. They like to drop in for supper? This would be a good time to listen while your child is reading and check their understanding and let them know that that word would not be super, that word is supper. So I can put down another finger, even though I know what the word supper means, as I was reading and I had a little difficulty and I didn't catch myself. They liked to drop in for supper and to sit around the table in front of the big fireplace. Such good suppers. There would be roast chicken or roast duck or roast goose, brown and done to a turn. There would be potatoes and turnips, carrots and corn. And of course there would be pies, pumpkin and apple and squash. So I'm going to stop there. They're reading not the whole first chapter, just a few pages in the first chapter. I read fairly well. There was a couple times that I wasn't too sure. But all in all, I understood what I read, didn't have too much trouble with the book. So this would be a good fit book. To recap with the books that we did, this one is going to be too easy for me to grow as a reader. It'll be fun to read, but not really much with growth. This book seems really interesting. I would like to learn more about Malala, but had a lot of difficulty with the words in this book. This would be too challenging, might even get to the frustration point, so not a good fit. This book, I only stumbled a couple times. It's interesting. Think I could read this on my own, or maybe with a little bit of help with some words. So this would be a good fit book.